You have to keep learning all the time. You have to keep exposing yourself to different disciplines. If you go into investing profession, you have to have passion for this. If you don't, just don't do it. Don't go in investment profession because of money. Because at the end of the day, you'll be competing against people who live and die by investing. And therefore, in the long run, you lose and you'll be miserable. In fact, when we were hiring for analysts at IMA, and I wrote a long essay about this, that was number one criteria I was screened for, is somebody passionate about investing. Like in basketball, they have this saying, you can't teach height. Well, I can't teach investing to somebody who's not passionate about investing. Like the second part of the question, I probably would give you a different answer in different part of the day. But I would argue that today you want to keep learning I know this sounds so trite and so boring, but you have to keep learning all the time. You have to keep exposing yourself to different disciplines. I read a lot, but I find that lately I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I probably listen to 1 or 2 hours of podcasts a day, and I've been very selective about what I listen. And I think podcast as a medium actually now has so much to offer and so much learning to offer. You have to be selective of this. Your podcast, just by its design, it exposes people to listeners to so many different kind of special people. Everybody but me. But so no, but so it's I guess I would argue just want to continue. Again, there's very little original I can say this, other than you just constantly want to be learning all the time. Let me tell you this story. So my son Jonah, 21 years old, he's a student at Boulder. He had an internship with Guy Spear, and after this is remember he's just starting to take finance classes and he loves it. He for a long time he told me he'll do any major but finance. And then he did try every other major. And then he took finance classes and really fell in love with finance. So zero pressure from my part, really. But anyway, so he had this internship with Guy Spear. And the most important thing he learned from this internship, I'm sure he learned a lot from Guy, but one experience he shared with me, how little he knows and how much more reading he has to do in life. Because he realized what got him to this point, all the reading he has done at this point, which wasn't a lot, is not enough to sustain him for the future. And so now he's reading all the time. He's making up for the time lost to some degree, but also in his case, he kind of in his experience, and this is a kind of unique. He realized he was listening to a lot of podcasts, but he was listening mindlessly and he was not learning. And he find that for him, actually, reading has a much bigger impact on his learning than listening. Again, and this is another key, actually. You need to understand how you learn, because we all learn differently. Some of us are listeners, some of us are readers, some of us can do both. He learned that he understood about himself. He's a much better learner when he reads.